Hello, welcome to episode 22 of Dick Moby, in which you, an idiot, watch me, a lunatic, read Moby Dick backwards, chapter by chapter, page by page, word by word, from now until the end of the universe. So far, we have reconstituted a ship and its crew from flotsam, is that the right term, or is it jetsam? Dug up. Dredged up from the deeps. Moby Dick's gone. We don't know what happened to Moby Dick. He made this ship in the first place and then disappeared from the story. I think we recently saw the response of the crew to meeting a virgin, a German virgin. That didn't end well. Blood everywhere. So now we're going to continue. We're going to continue on with this hogwash. The great American novel, the great American novel of 1851, Herman Melville's Moby Dick. I have some beer, my favourite flavour of beer. Brown beer. A few bits of admin to do. Click on the buttons below and give money to the National Video Game Museum. The address is down there. Do that. They're ace. I don't want any money for this. I don't deserve any money for this. But they do deserve money, not for this, because they're not doing this. But if they were doing this, they would deserve money for this. But they don't do this. They do that, the other thing that they do. Give them money. Because, you know, it'd be nice if they didn't go under while no one can go there, so that when everyone can go there, we could all go there. Let's all go there. Let's meet there. Have a load of fun. And play, I don't know, Missile Command or something. Yeah. We got as far as the word "as" last time. We stopped in the middle of a sentence because I got sidetracked talking about the anatomy of whales, which really is all Herman Melville does from this point on, is discuss whales and whaling and boats and boating and harpoons and harpooneering. There is no more story to be read. But we will continue nevertheless. I'm going to backtrack to world. I wouldn't want you to be confused by starting in the middle of a sentence there and not really be able to pick up what's going on. So instead, with with full clarity and context, here we go. World that to out half fling I, which flag that of staff audacious firm the in as spine my in rejoice I. Soul noble and full, upheld yet never spine of joist thin Now, in case you were concerned that I might actually do this and read this backwards, yes, I am actually reading this backwards. Sorry. Backbone his in betoken found be will character man's of much that believe I for. Canal spinal the through cerebellum the from investigations there pushing not in thing important. And omitted have phrenologists that consider I now. Canoe his of prow beaked the basso relievo of sort in. Inlaying was he which of vertebrae the with and slain had he foe out of skeleton the in. Me to out it pointed once friend foreign Perceive to men first the not were Germans that it take I. Resemblance external curious the but. Skulls undeveloped absolutely are vertebrae that conceit German is it. Proper skull that to resemblance rudimental bearing all skulls dwarfed of necklace strung to vertebrae its of resemblance the with struck be will you spine quadrupeds any almost regard attentively you if. You for idea another have I then, charted adequately being of incapable it deem you, brain proper whales the of dimensions comparative the from if but. Nonsense. So last time we were talking about how whales' brains apparently are in their necks and fit snugly in their necks, leaving their head almost entirely devoid of content. Like Facebook. But I think the point is that there are anatomical structures in a whale's head. I mean, it hasn't really got a head, has it? It's got what do you call it? It's got an end. The end of a whale, the business end of the whale, is empty because it has all these structures for its fountain-like breathing, where it squirts water out everywhere like a Butlin's swimming pool. So we shall continue to find out more and more about whales, or hopefully less and less. In reading this backwards, perhaps we'll forget entirely what whales are like, and by the end of the book we won't even know what a whale is. We'll have no clue at all. Is potency exalted most, the what of conception exhilarating most, the not though? Truest the yourself to form best can you. Power and bulk prodigious his of fact affirmative, the with a long considered. Negations those by and. Veneration no and. Self-esteem no had man this. Say would you phrase phrenological in. Summit it's of part one on depressions the remarking and. Them with it confound involuntarily would you and. Skulls men's of plate at among. Magnitude human that are down scaled. Skull reversed this place indeed. View of point same the from and. Situations same the in beheld. Skull human that to resemblance it's by struck be will you. End high that is which. End rear it's of view rear a take then and heaps spermy. Heaps spermy. It's a skull his unload you if. Now then, we're gonna draw our first sperm of the evening. If you haven't been following along, we maintain some semblance of progress, and I guess in case we get audited by the National Sperm Office, we have to track how many sperms we've come across in the course of unreading this book. There are 271 individual instances of the word sperm in Moby Dick. However, that includes adjectivizing the word sperm and having spermy heaps and other sperm related words like spermatozoon, the correct word for sperm, or what was the one we came across? Spermicide, which has something to do with whales, I think, in the first place, and astispermanti, which I think is an unpleasant drink. I'm going to draw a sperm here. What we do is we draw the sperms as we go. There he is. I've drawn him there on the. This is the sperm buffer, and there's the sperm we've just come across. And at the end of every episode, I transfer the sperms from the sperm buffer onto the big board behind us. I say us. I mean me. I'm the only one here. I don't know why I refer to myself as us. I'm including you in this process, but you don't do anything. You've never drawn a sperm in your life. You don't lift a finger, do you? The sperm count on the big board, that tracks how far we are through the entire book, not just through the evening's spermy heaps. So I've lost count. I've actually lost count of how many sperms there are, but we're nowhere near the end, so it doesn't matter. I'll count up when we get near the end, and we'll see how far away we are. For now, we just take great pleasure when we do come across some sperm, and maintain the record. Just for the auditor's pleasure, really. We would not want to run afoul of the ombudsman. World common the to brow false are wares, mighty are that things all like whale the. Any feel nor it of indications no see, then can you brain true his for as delusion entire and is state intact living creatures the in Leviathan this of head the phrenologically that then plain is it. Intelligence his of seat the as him of part mystic that regard to might general his of idea the with keeping in more seems it. Apprehensions thereto, convolutions and courses, folds strange in lying. Magazine sperm, oh, how unpleasant. We'll draw them as we go. We'll draw them as we go. Sometimes if the sperm are coming too thick and fast, sometimes, as you know, I sometimes just remember how many. There he is. There's the new second sperm there from the magazine. I sometimes just remember how many sperm there are and then draw them all in one go at the end of a paragraph. But this, we haven't yet run into that situation. We are still. I can still cope with this amount of sperm, although I can see another one coming up there. I may just remember that one as we go. Magazine sperm, his of cubic yards. Ugh. This is a very specialist magazine that I'm not sure I want to subscribe to. His of cubic yards, the by-formed one of semblance palpable, that than brain other any has whale. Oh, whale sperm, that denied hang on, I'm gonna get it. Peremptorily, who whalemen some known have I that. Started a bit too soon tonight. Have I that? Him in secreted it is casket. Choice like so. We don't forget that sperm, we'll come back to it. Quebec of fortifications amplified, the within citadel innermost the like. Outworks vast its behind, away hidden is it. Life in forehead apparent, his from feet 20 least, at his brain the. Brain monsters, this of handful mere the reposes. Depth in many as and length in inches, 10 exceeding seldom cavity another in. Crater this of floor long the underwhile. Mass the of part that bed to crater. I thought we were getting room service there. Bed to crater forms skull the end high the at. Sperm and junk. Oh, he's doing it on purpose. I'm absolutely convinced he's doing it on purpose now. Sperm and junk. Let's just draw the two sperms that we've got so far. I mean, Herman must have known, right? I mean, when was sperm, like conventional sperm that we understand, sperm that I'm drawing, the kind of reproductive sperm, when was that discovered? When did we, as a human, obviously we knew that doing the sex thing led to babies coming out, not immediately, but with some delay, a few trimesters worth of delay. But we can't have always known that, right? We didn't have the sort of germ theory and all that. We couldn't have seen the sperm up until I don't know when. I don't know when at all. Maybe that's something you can find out. Post in the comments when you first found out that you can see individual sperm and that we could study what the sperms do and how they behave individually and as a gob. There's the end of the chapter. It's called The Nut. Oh, Herman, you are spectacular. I'm enjoying this more and more as time goes backwards. Sperm and junk, the of mass superincumbent enormous, the by squared almost and upfilled angularly is plane inclined this. Seen elsewhere have we as life in butt. Base level on throughout resting plane inclined moderately. Hello, Throcky. Of side the as is skull, this of view side the and. Jaw lower the unhinge. length in feet 20, least at measure will skull the creature full grown therein. Square to impossible is it which circle geometrical that seems brain his phrenologist the two. Sphinx are physiognomically. Hang on. Back up. It isn't as bad as. I know this is a word though, isn't it? It's not as bad as diagonically in the last episode. Physiognomic. Physiognomically. There we go. Sphinx are physiognomically be whale sperm the if, not the 80 chapter. There you go. There we go. And one more sperm just to round things off. There he is. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of them's I don't know what he's doing. Must have ideas of his own. There we go. 80 chapters in. Except we're not, are we? We're 50. What are we? 55 chapters in. Because we're going backwards. And an epilogue. Don't forget the epilogue. Well, some of these recent chapters have been incredibly long. Chapters that were an entire episode to themselves. Whereas now we seem to be making good progress numerically through chapters. Not so good through the sperm count, although I can see a few sperms coming up on this page. And of course I have the measure of this because I can see the progress bar. I can see the actual scroll bar on the document from which I'm reading this. So I can see that we're making gradual progress, which is great. Slow and steady wins the race. Can you, if it read? Can you, if it read? Only just. You before brow that put but I, brow whale sperm, the of Chaldee awful, the reed to hope Ishmael unlettered mayhow, meaning subtle more and profounder, it's in face peasants simplest, the reed not could. Languages 30 in reed who, Jones Williams, sir, then if there's one sperm. Now, there's quite a few. I'm going to do them at the end of each paragraph because there's a lot of sperms coming up now. Fable passing about is science, human, other every like, physiognomy. See, it's easy in isolation, is it? Physiognomy, just one. But the adjective, physiognomonically, whatever it was, that was terrible. Anyway, physiognomy. Face, beings every and man's every of Egypt, the decipher to Champollion, no is there but. Hieroglyphics granite wrinkled the deciphered Champollion. I'm not even going to show you the sperms, I'm just going to draw them. Like, I'll show you at the end of the chapter because it's getting boring. There's so many sperms, it's a bit tedious. I'm not even drawing them very well now. Thing is, it's like when people start drawing horses, right? You know, drawing horses is quite difficult, isn't it? It's a traditional art challenge to draw a horse and make it anatomically, maybe not realistic, but at least feasible. At least like it's going to work as if it's a horse. What everybody does is they draw a horse. What I'll do is I'll draw the horse the wrong way, like people do it, right? Here we go. I'll draw it up in the corner here because I've already run out of room on the sperm count board. There's a horse, right? I've done it wrong. You know what I've done is I've drawn it right, and that's the problem, right? That's what people think a horse looks like there. Not the body. Ignore the body. I haven't really put a lot of effort into the body, but the legs there are obviously a very realistic rendering of a horse that doesn't work. Because horses' legs don't all go the same way like that. If you look at the way a horse works, a horse's back legs, let me draw it the right way, a horse's back legs go the opposite way round. They do that. The knee's on the back. Because it's not really their knee, it's their ankle. That's the way a horse works. Now, I've drawn enough horses over the years. I've never drawn a horse before, but I understand how horses work because I'm a man of letters. But I've certainly drawn enough sperm now. There's the evidence. If you don't believe me, I drew all them sperm myself, and I've drawn 5 more there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more there. I didn't say I could count. I said I could draw. 6 sperms. The thing is, I've become so complacent in my sperm renderings that I'm bored of it, really. I'm bored of it. It just comes natural to me. I'm like a Disney animator in that, you know, I've been doing this forever and I work for nothing. And now we've got a horse on the sperm chart. Oh dear, it's all gone wrong. Never mix horses and sperms. Where was I up to even? Champollions. I just said something about Champollions and I drew another sperm, didn't I? Right, here we go. It Lord shall whale sperm, great there's one, great the seat high Joves to exalted. Sure be then, hill unhaunted now, the inn, Sky egotistical, now the and again them enthroned livingly and old of God's May Day merry there, birthright there, to back lure shall nature poetical. Cultured highly any hereafter if, protrusion of incapable be to as, small exceedingly so, is it least at all. Tongue no has whale sperm. The and. There's two. I'll count, don't worry, you there's two. You just check me at the end. The and. Tongueless is crocodile the because. Nile the of crocodile the deified they. Thoughts Thoughts child magian. Thoughts child magian thereby deified been have would he. World orient young the to known being whale sperm 3. Great the had that me remind this and. Silence pyramidical. His in declared moreover is it. Am I just finding it harder to read this than normal? I'm really struggling with this. He's going for some complicated words. Pyramidical. Physiognomonically. It's really tricky tonight. It proved to particular nothing doing his in declared his genius. Great his. No. Speech has spoken. Book are written ever whale sperm has whale sperm the ingenious. How but that's 5 more sperms. Flipping heck. They're putting me through the ringer tonight. Absolutely rinsing these sperms out like nobody's business. I'm going to have to start drawing them really small. 3, 4. Yeah, they're starting to get a bit wonky. Not sure them sperms are going to really go anywhere, but the thing is, when I draw them on the big board, I have to draw them small. Apart from the odd special sperm up there, because they're not all going to fit. I think there's only about 70 or so sperms on there now, and there's 200 left to go. I'm not going to fit 200 more sperms on there. What I did say I might do is start to group them together like a tally where you do 4 things and then you draw a line through them to say 5. What I might do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, drawing the sperms. This is sperm, but then when I draw the 5th sperm, what I'll do is I'll replace the 5 sperms with one like big sperm, special sperm, somehow indicating like it's a boss sperm that's worth 5 other sperms. And then maybe if I get 5 sets of 5, I'll make one like mega sperm that's worth 25. Like a sort of currency of sperms, like a trading system. How many would that be? 271. We'd end up with 100. We'd end up with a 5 cubed, wouldn't we? We'd end up with 125 sperms grouped together into one hypersperm. We'd have 2 hypersperms to make 250. We wouldn't have any megasperms because then we'd have some boss sperms that are groups of 5 to make 270. 4 boss sperms and 1 sperm on his own. It's like the intern or something. The in-sperm. Anyway, that was 5 sperms. Good progress. Excellent. Genius of Mark Lavater's. Don't know who he is. Is man in which middle foreheads. Man only has 1 forehead. Middle foreheads that in depression semi-crescentic. Horizontal that perceive plainly you. Profile in. So you upon domineer not does grandeur its viewed way that though. Diminish brow wondrous this does. Profile in nor. Men and ships and boats of doom. Boats of doom with lowering dumbly. I don't think he really intended that. Riddles with pleated forehead out of firmament broad one that but nothing. Proper none has he. This is really badly written. Just write some sentences that flow. Usually there's no full stops at all. It's just a wall of text, and now there's nothing but punctuation. Nothing. Proper none has he. Face no. I can't get a run at it. Mouth or ears, eyes, nose no. Revealed his feature distinct one not. Precisely point one knows see you for. Nature living in object other any beholding in than forcibly more powers dread. The and a deity the feel you. View front full that in. It on gazing that, amplified immensely, so is brow the in inherent dignity godlike, mighty and high this. Whale sperm, great the in but. Dear the of prince snow, the track hunters highland that as. Drink to their descending thoughts antlered, the track to seem you. Wrinkles foreheads the in them above all and. Lakes mountain tideless, eternal. Clear seem themselves eyes the that. Low so descend and high so rise Melanchthon's or Shakespeare's, like which foreheads the are few. It's true, Melanchthon and Shakespeare had hardly any foreheads. Line snow the along lying and alpine of strip mere but is brow the often very, himself man in nay, creatures most in but. Hand my by day this done, God signifies it. Decrees there to emperors German the by a fixed seal golden great, that as is brow mystical the, animal or human. Majestic is brow elephants the, defiles mountain up cannon heavy pushing, it in grand, the of touch has bull the of brow curled the, pasture the of repose the in, morning the with troubled when east, the like his brow human fine are thought in. Draw another sperm before we miss out there. Sperm, go on, one more. I'm not even showing you now. I don't even know why I'm drawing them. Just remember, what I'll just do is I could just actually keep a tally, couldn't I? I could just keep a tally and then draw them all later. Don't need to do that. Don't need to draw them all as I go. Sublime is aspect this. Head his, a front full, the of that is. Whale sperm, the of had he, of had be to view physiognomical, imposing most the perhaps particular some in. One more, crikey. I watched that film. It was alright. Extraction, it was called. Extraction. It's got Thor in it. You know Thor out of the Marvels. It's got him in it. He runs about a bit. He shoots some people. Does some fighting. The fighting's a bit like sort of John Wick, only not as... it's meant to be that sort of hard-hitting, uncompromising fighting. It's not quite as clinical or quite as brutal. But it's nicely done. They've got some interesting sequences where it's all one shot. They do a big action sequence in one shot. A bit like Children of Men, only it's like more action. It's bang, 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 more action. Fighting, shooting, car chases, that sort of thing. Which is quite well done. But it's one of them. It's one of them things where it's only just well done enough to pass it, and once you realise it's happening, you can't help but just pay attention to the fact that it's doing it. It's all one shot and you keep going, oh, that was a cut. That was edited. You know, the camera swung round too fast there to hide the fact that it was, you know, they went behind that pillar because they had to, because of the way it was shot, rather than being any good. Anyway, it's one of those kind of things where you get dragged out of the action by watching the action rather than being in it. It was all right. Reasonable film, I guess. Bit joyless. Not much funny stuff in it, you know. Even the guy out of Stranger Things, the you know, the good one out of Stranger Things, the one that makes it worth watching. Not Winona Ryder. She's good as well. But I'm talking about the man, David. He was shit as Hellboy, wasn't he? What's his name? Hater. Hater. Yeah, he's in it briefly. Probably the best bit. But yeah, so I watched that. It was alright. And then we watched Now this is leading up to something. I'm going to show you something. The reason I paused here. Can we get to the end of a chapter before I? Yeah, the end of a chapter is there. You're gonna have to wait, right? We'll get on to what's the next thing. The point I was getting to. You'll have to wait. I'm not going to get to it. I'm just gonna press on until the end of this chapter because it's only just there, and then we'll talk about this. Throne his on beadle royal mightiest, the beholding when even obtruding upon insist will often so witch. Conceit pestilent, pulled be to nose, has he that reflection, the by insulted never are him of conceptions, noble your jolly boat, your in head vast, his round sail you voyage physiognomical, your on as. Impertinent been have would wail the to nose, grandeur added, and is it, nay. All at blemish no is him in. Hideous were Jove sculptured, the in which deficiency same the that. Stately so are proportions his all. Magnitude a mighty, so of is Leviathan nevertheless. Remainder sorry, what and. Jove marble Phideuses from knows the dash. Knows the of belfry open work elevated, though without keeping in physiognomically be can face no so. I'm getting into it now, aren't I? I'm getting the swing into that physiognomically business. It's no diagonically, is it? Seen the of completion the to indispensable almost deemed is. Some sort some of tower or monument cupola spire gardening landscape in as for. Whale the of countenance the effect largely very must, appendage external and as. Absence entire it's that seem wooded hence. Expression combined there controls finally and modifies most perhaps its since and. Features the of conspicuous most and central the is knows the since and. Knows proper no has he. Creature anomalous, and is whale sperm the regarded physiognomically. I do another one, because I must. I do what I must, because I can. Can I what achieve I? Things all try I, endeavour my do will I. Whale the two semi-sciences too, these of application the in, pioneer are for qualified ill, but am I though therefore. Man than beings other of characteristics phrenological, the touching hints some out throw to failed Spurzheim disciple, his and Gaul have nor. Their indiscernible expression of modifications the upon detail indwells and fish and serpents, birds, horses of faces the studies attentively also but. Men of faces various, the of treats only not levator. His of work famous that in still. Pantheon the of dome the manipulated and ladder amounted have to Gaul for ore. Gibraltar of rock the on wrinkles the scrutinized have to levator for as hopeful as almost seem would enterprise and such. Undertaken yet undertaken yet as has phrenologist or physiognomist know which thing is this. Leviathan this of head the on bumps the feel or face his of lines the scan too. Prairie there 79 chapter. So yes, we watched this other thing afterwards, and I so impressed was I with this other thing. No, it wasn't much of a thing. That I thought I'd show you some stuff from it because it made me laugh. The show is called Nailed It. It's on Netflix. I believe it has 4 series so far, and I'm sure we'll get recommissioned due to the nature of what it is. It's it's the Great British Bake Off for people who can't bake. People who have not got a clue about baking. I mean, some of them have got a vague clue about baking. I'm not going to exaggerate, but they're not good bakers, these people. They don't go on there with an encyclopedic knowledge of Victoria sponges and croque and bouches and galoshes. Not galoshes. What's it called? Gouache. Not gouache. Ganache. They don't know anything about all these things at all. They've got no clue. So the show itself is kind of funny because basically they get them on and they go, right, you're going to have to bake this really complicated thing that you got no chance, right? And then they try and bake it and it's terrible. And then they mock it. And it's presented by a comedian and a pastry chef. And they have a guest on. This time it was the guy from Veep in the episode that I watched. The reason I'm telling you this, first of all, it wasn't bad, right? It was actually quite a funny show. Couldn't help but find myself amused by it, which is great for a show of that nature. You know, I'm not a big fan of reality TV challenge type shows, but this was actually quite funny. And it has relevance to what we're doing now. I'll disappear for a second, as will the words. Don't be afraid of this. I'm going to transition to another thing. You can see me looking down there. That's where I have to click for this to happen because I haven't got it all set up on the keyboard. That'd be easy, wouldn't it? I'm going to click a thing and you'll still hear my voice, but instead there'll be a picture of a cake. Here we go. There you go. That's a cake. That looks pretty spectacular, doesn't it? Now, it'd be very impressive if one of the people came on the show, one of the people I've described as being someone who cannot bake, came on the show and presented that as their terrible cake that they failed to bake. Obviously what we're looking at here is a Moby Dick cake, right? We have the whale itself, the giant whale, coming out of the water represented by this blue and white foamy buttercream icing. And over at the left-hand side, which is a little hard to see on this picture, I think, over at the left-hand side you can see Ahab there in a little tiny boat, and on the boat it says Pequod. Now I think that has come from the Pequod. I don't think that's the full Pequod. Where would the other crew go? Where would they keep all of the oil? Where would they keep all the sperm? But anyway, this is representative of scale and the terror that Ahab would feel facing a whale of this magnitude. Incidentally, the entire thing is actually coming out of a storybook. That bottom layer, the whitish layer underneath there, is a book. It's the book of Moby Dick, and there is a whale coming out of it, out of this foaming water, and there is the pathetic, obsessive figure of Ahab there, throwing a harpoon and hoping to hit the whale in its perfectly sculpted royal icing eye. That's the exemplar cake. That's what they're trying to make. Here's an example of what they actually made. That's not bad. I mean, that's pretty good, right? This was a guy, he baked a cake. At least it's the right colour, roughly. It's kind of the right shape. The whale's got teeth. There is some kind of a water effect. And Ahab there, okay, so he looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy. But as we've established previously in reading this backwards, the Pillsbury Doughboy actually plays a significant part in Moby Dick, as we know. So I don't blame him for becoming confused and rendering Ahab in such a doughy way, especially as he is a ham-fisted baker who doesn't really know what he's doing. But he's done quite a good job there to make a cake that looks vaguely like a whale. Quite a good job to do a cake that doesn't just look like a cube with teeth on one side. I mean, what is that? And what is Ahab doing? Ahab's like having a little rest. He's just having a little lie down there in his boat. What's that he's got there? Is that... maybe that's the sperm. Maybe that's a whale sperm that he's captured. And Ahab there looking... you know, he's chilling. He's quite happy because he's killed. Why's the water got teeth? Look at the right hand side there. There's more teeth on the water than there is on the whale. That whale... I don't know what to tell you. maybe she was stressed, stuck for time. A lot of people in these shows, they run out of time at the end, don't they? They panic. And although it's going really, really well, they panic. And in the last few seconds, they go from presenting what would have been a beautiful rendering of Moby Dick, much more akin to this one in its detail and finery. This one here, I think that just fell apart in the last few seconds, didn't it? She just ran out of time to put the finishing touches on it to go from that to that. She's obviously she's mistimed it. Maybe she misheard the instructions. Still, it's good going. It's pretty good going. There was a third contestant. I'm not even sure it's worth looking at this one. But, all right, here we go. What is that? What is that? The whale? It doesn't even look like a cake. It looks like something that you failed to upholster a sofa with. And the bright pink thing, I don't know what that is. There's no part of a whale that's that colour. At least the upholstery thing there. I know that they had an air gun, like an airbrush, to paint the whale, to put the finishing touches on to make it look a bit more, mottled and whale-like. You can see the effect on the example image there. You can see how the whale is sort of multicoloured. That's an effect painted on using an airbrush, and he's tried to do this here. He's airbrushed around the IKEA cushion replacement inner that he's placed on top of the cake there, in order to make it look more like a whale, I guess. Don't know what the pink thing is, don't know what the grapes are, and I've absolutely no idea why an Atari joystick rendered as a black grape on the end of a cocktail stick stuck into what appears to be a turd at the right hand side there. Is that supposed to be Ahab? That's Ahab throwing his harpoon, sailing around in a nutty shit. What? Oh, I don't know. It's supposed to be a comedy show. It is a comedy baking show, I get that, and they've picked people who can't really bake, but I mean, that doesn't appear to even be edible, let alone well baked at all. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting little aside. I thought we'd examine that. The show was called Nailed It. I can recommend it. It was quite funny. There was a funny lady presenting it, and like I say, the guy from Veep, who spent the whole time just laughing at people. It was fine. It was fine. Check it out. Anyway, shall we persist with this nonsense? Let's continue. There perished sweetly and head honey Plato's into fallen likewise have, ye think, many how. Embalmed died he that so in him sucked it, over far too leaning, that it of store exceeding such found, tree hollow out of crotch the in honey seeking who, honey hunter Ohio, and of death delicious the okay, recalled the readily can end sweeter one only. Well, the of sanctorum sanctum and chamber inner secret, the entombed and hearst coffined spermicide, that'll do, that counts. Fragrant of daintiest and whitest very that insmothered. Perishing precious very been had it, head that in perished Tashtego had now. One sperm to draw, I will do so. Was it? So, delivery running, was it? Yes. Say may you as run the on obstetrics agile his performing for chance fair a quiqueg affording, indeed deliberately and slowly very sank it that so. It from undetached remaining head the of parts other the by counteracted materially instance present the in was substance this in sinking rapid to tendency the but full stop. Almost lead. Almost lead? Almost lead. I'm going to go with lead because, it's something could be almost lead. Almost lead, like it in sinks which of lump and... Oops, I clicked a thing. I don't know if you saw me click a thing. Which of lump and water see the than heavier much Said before, have I as. Substance hammered, welded, double A. Leave a comment if you saw me click a thing. Wealthy of wall tenderness. Every time the immediate response to seeing this, it's happened before, is for me to want to sing that song, the tenderness. Show a little tenderness, whatever that song is. Try a little tenderness, is it? I don't know. It sounds like something off a Twix advert or something. Wall tenderness dense. The but little leaving. Contents lighter, its have emptied, nearly been had case there. In fell tash poor time, the at four. Ye have I but, all at not. There the, there thee have we. Itself then gravity specific greater far out of element, and in sync it makest thou yet and. Him about part corky most and lightest there was. Whale sperm, the of head infiltrated, tissued the thought we. This is how, urged sagaciously be may it, peradventure but. And a sperm to draw. I'm going to draw 2 sperm, get ahead of the game, because I've just seen another one there, so I'll draw 2 now. Oh, that's terrible. That's the worst. Look, that one there. I know they're having to get smaller, but that one there, I can't draw a sperm that small. That's practically the same size as a real sperm. Not a whale sperm, obviously, as we've established already. Whale sperms are about the same size as a Fender Stratocaster. There's 1 sperm, there's 2 sperms. I've been watching the Christmas lectures from 1968, with a presenter, a professor. Not a presenter, I mean, he's presenting, but he's more than a presenter, he's a professor, I believe. They don't just get anybody in. It's not Dermot O'Leary's Christmas lectures. It's an actual professor professing things. Philip Morrison, I believe his name. And he is presenting the series of lectures, Christmas lectures, Royal Institution Christmas lectures. I'm giving it an increasingly lengthy title there. From 1968, entitled something like Gulliver's Measures, Gulliver's Numbers, Gulliver's something. And the idea is to examine scale, the role scale plays in nature and in physics. And so he has discussed so far, I'm 2 and a bit episodes in, he has discussed how the amount of food that a creature must eat scales very rapidly with the size of the creature, or inversely very rapidly with the size of the creature. So, for example, a mouse would have to eat something like 2/3 of its own body weight per day in order to keep going, whereas a human being can eat something like 1/30 of his body weight in a day. Is that right? How much is that? That still sounds like quite a lot. But anyway, you can see what I'm saying. And a horse has to eat something like 1/65, I think it was, of its body weight in a day. And a hummingbird has to not only eat something like its entire body weight plus of food in a day, it also has to make sure the only thing it eats is like nectar. It's honey, basically. So it's the most calorifically dense substance it can get, and it has to eat its own body weight every day just to keep flying around. I'm not sure it's worth carrying on flying around. If that's the case, I would think, well, just chill out a bit, then you wouldn't have to eat so much. You're not that swimmer, you're not Michael Phelps. You don't have to eat 13 12-inch pizzas a day just to be able to train, whatever stupid shit they used to eat. 13 pizzas a day or something I read he ate. Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps, what a fat sod. Whales sperm, the of curb, the of slipperiness exceeding the considering. Anyway, I recommend watching the Christmas lectures. They're all on the Royal Institution's website. Go on there. There's loads of them, some fascinating ones. My favourite ones are the ones from 1993, I think. The Cosmic Onion. I convinced my kids to watch that. They watched about 40 minutes of the Cosmic Onion before they realised that it was educational, and then we're not allowed to watch it now. Back to Minecraft. Slipperiness exceeding the considering. Indians the than to reason less much with, and happens seldom not which accident an. Ashore cistern cistern into falling. One some have heard or seen either have made themselves they though. Landsmen some to incredible seem to sure be will gay headers. The of adventure queer this that know I. Rowing and riding, boxing and fencing, with course same that in taught be should midwifery. Really? Forgotten be to means no by lesson is which I disagree. Impediments hopeless apparently and untoward most the of two teeth the in accomplished successfully was Tashtego of delivery rather or deliverance. The queequeg of obstetrics in skill great and courage the through thus and expected be could as well as doing was that itself head great the for as foremost head way old good that in forth came he trial next the with that so Indian the upon Somerset a wrought had toss and heave dexterous by and leg the back thrust had he trouble great occasion might and be to aught it as not was that knowing well but you wonder why I have trouble with this. Well but presented was leg him for in thrusting first upon that averred he head the by tash pour out hold so and upwards and inwards far arm long his thrust had sword his dropping then their whole larger scuttle to as so bottom its near lunges side made had sword keen his with queequeg head descending slowly the after diving why accomplished been rescue noble this had how now brisk very look did queequeg and to coming in long was Tashtego but deck the to brought quickly were they boat waiting the into drawn Indian the of hair long the clutching other the with hand one without striking boldly seen was queequeg after soon and shout joyful with again Dagu cried both is it both grave over grass the from forth thrust arm and as see to strange sight waves blew the from upright thrust arm and saw we side the from off further looking and overhead perch swinging quiet now is his from once all at Dagu cried ha have we got much left to go? Plenty. I might stop there. I'm struggling tonight. I'm finding it really hard going. There's lots of complicated words and lots of little tiny words. It's really badly written, this chapter. I blame Herman. For everything. We left the house today for the first time in 11 weeks. Not to anywhere exciting. We didn't go to Barnard Castle. We went to Nicky Nook. Yeah, that's right, Nicky Nook. You heard me. It's a real place. Nicky Nook. It's not the same thing as Dingley Dell. It's a different thing. Nicky Nook is a hill, and there's like a reservoir and that just there. You can go for a walk. You park up in a lay-by, you get out of the car, you get the kids out, set them off, and then you go for a bit of a walk. It's quite nice. It was all right. Went up a hill, saw the view and that from up there, and came back down. 7.5 kilometres. I know. I think I've justified eating my 13 pizzas for today with that sort of training regime. But it was genuinely nice. It was very pleasant. It was a lovely sunny day. Everyone behaved, even me. I held on all the way through the day. I didn't have to go for a wild wee anywhere. Managed to go the whole day. And I don't think anyone caught any fatal illnesses. time will reveal whether that is the case. But it was pretty good going. Nice to leave the house. Lockdown is over. Everyone can go out, meet 6 of their friends, and then meet 6 others the next day, 6 others the day after that. I think that's 636, 216. Is it? 6 cubed. I really feel like we could get the R number into triple figures the way we're going. I really feel like we could do that. Because, you know, getting it around 1, it's okay. But wouldn't 2 be better? Wouldn't it be good to push the boundary, push the envelope to 2? And who knows beyond that? We could get triple figure R numbers that are the envy of the world. All we have to do is follow the government advice, do what they say, not as they do, and it'll be awesome. Anyway, I'm done for the night. I'm sick of this. I'm sure you're sick of this too. I'll be on again on Tuesday, of course. You can't keep me away from this. Glutton for punishment. I'm so excited about Tuesday. You know what's different about Tuesday? Nothing at all. Nothing at all is different about Tuesday. It'll be the same as this. However, before then, who knows? I might have watched another episode of Star Trek, and I might have some opinions. I tend to have opinions of things after I've watched them. Tune in for more opinions and more stupid reading backwards. But I think we're close to done. I don't think we need to have another look at the cakes. I could fancy eating the cakes. It was my wife's birthday the other day. We had afternoon tea delivered, which was great. Tuna sandwiches, cheese sandwiches, ham sandwiches, cheese sandwiches, but on brown bread. Slightly different kind of ham as well, I think, on a sandwich. 2 scones, clotted cream, jam. I had mine with them. Crisps, which we put in the fridge for a couple of hours before we ate them. They got a bit soft. Mixed leaves. Oh, edible ones. Edible leaves. Cakes. 4 brownies. 2 millionaire shortbreads. 2 angel slices. 4 small biscuits. 2 big biscuits. And 2 tea bags, which was nice. They sent 2 tea bags with it because it's afternoon tea, isn't it? So they sent us 2 tea bags. So we made a pot of tea. Yeah, it's nice. Good that. That can come again for 60 quid. Whatever it was. Yeah. Birthday treat though, isn't it? When it's my birthday, I'll get my birthday treat. I look forward to that. I look forward to my birthday treat on my birthday. Maybe leave something in the comments to suggest what my birthday treat should be, and I'll get one. A birthday treat. I have to decide. I'm more of a savoury guy, you know. I'd probably go for like a duck. Yeah, a duck. All the bits of a duck. Go for that. That'd be nice. Yeah, okay, click things. Click like, click subscribe, click you can't click on that address. I still haven't set it up that you can click on it, but you can type it in. That one there, thenvm.org, you can type that in and give money to people who deserve it. Because I don't, but they do. So give them some money. Especially if you like video games, but even if you don't like video games, it doesn't matter because they like money. But it's not the money museum, is it? It's the video game, the National Video Game Museum, not the National Museum of Money. But they still like money. They still need money, so give them some money. I'll be back on Tuesday, as I said. Until then, that's it. Good night.